In May of 1941, the first of a series of meetings for forming an electric cooperative were held in Delhi. The Delaware County Electric Association Incorporated was formed on July 15, 1941. On June 29, 1944, at 2 p.m., the first 8.2 miles of line serving 12 farms were energized on Peaks Brook Road in Delhi. What was it like back then, before electricity got here?
It was an incredible thing when we realized that we were going to have electricity. And then one day we looked down towards the highway and there was a crew of men coming up through putting poles in. And I'm telling you, we were so excited. There was myself and my brothers and my dad. My dad was still running the farm, and we couldn't believe our good luck. And what we did, we got an electrician from Andes, I remember, and he came in the house and he put a light bulb in every room, and in the barn there was a string of light bulbs. Instead of lanterns, we didn't have to clean any more lanterns. And you can't believe how excited we were about that, to be able to pull a chain and the light came on. And we didn't think, when Dad bought the farm in his first place, we didn't think that would ever happen. Maybe there was some talk about electric co-op coming into the area, but we weren't waiting for it to happen right away. I think we just kind of put it on the back burner and thought, well, maybe someday that will happen. But when it actually happened, it was unbelievable, especially in the barn. Instead of cleaning about 5 lanterns every night, you just turned the switch and the lights were on. And it was so much safer too. We figured, because those lanterns were not the safest thing in the world. I still can't really believe what a tremendous thing that was for Delaware County, because it wasn't only just our farm, it was every farm had electric available to them. It was unbelievable. But this, electric is one of the greatest things that happened to Delaware County. There's no doubt about it. And it's not only Delaware County, I imagine it was a big area of the New York State.
When the co-op came, it showed the people, the general population, that these farmers who have now had a taste of what another life could be like, that they showed that they meant business. They went right out and dug the holes for the most part, those that were able, and somebody from the co-op apparently had made a map. People that worked for the co-op, like Mr. Marshfield, had made maps, and they had everything mapped out, and all the co-op had to do was find ways to get the poles out here. Farmers volunteered to bring poles out. When they went to town, they'd bring back some poles with them. Because of the scarcity of people in these hills until that time, the electric companies did not want to come up here, string wire, put in poles for 3 or 4 customers. So they didn't, and they wouldn't. And there have been efforts over the years by the electric companies to buy out the co-op in certain areas. There's still some areas where the co-op membership is quite thin. And the power company is interested in selling power and making a profit for its stockholders. And the farmers that I met when I first came here were men and women that didn't even know what a piece of paper called a stock option was. All they wanted was power to run the milking machine. I went to a couple of electric cooperative conventions, and they're big. They're big for me. 7,000 or 8,000 people be at the convention. You know, and I'm wondering, where did they all come from? Well, they had come from home where most of them had recently had electricity installed for the first time, and they were there to see what kind of an organization that their leaders had put together. And I found that the men that were on the board of directors at that time were very sincere in their efforts to keep things going. And then came the matter of they needed to make a profit in order to keep buying wire and other equipment, generators and so forth. Therefore, they were quite serious about doing their work and keeping their nose to the grindstone, which they did. So I found that these conventions, that not only were they big, but the farmers, the organizations as a whole, were represented by what I found to be good, smart guys. But as far as I can see, the kind of people that are working for the co-op probably amount to the best kind of crew, trained people that we've ever had. When I see the kind of trucks they're using these days, gosh, they must cost a pile, but that's all right. That's what it takes to do the business today. I believe that the electric co-op was a wonderful idea, simply to move forward a lot quicker than doing one farmer at a time. Certainly, they couldn't have done one guy at a time up here in the hills with a Delco machine down in the cellar, and he's going to go out and dig holes. You can't do it. Had to be put together something, and they did. And they dug the holes, and they strung the wire.
One thing I'm going to bring out is installing the line. The poles was pulled in by a team of horses, distributed where they need to be, and all the pole holes was dug by hand, and then the wire was the same way. They hooked the reel behind on a wagon and pulled the wire with a team of horses. So that was one thing was quite different. And we had a little hold up. We had a farm up the road here, and the farmer pulled up all the fence posts, the survey posts, and threw them over the wall. So they had to survey the farm all over again, because he didn't want those poles in the middle of his meadow. And he was one of the ones that had the Delco system, so he didn't care whether he had the REA or not. But this soon came around, and eventually everybody got it. And that was what I remember most about this. That and
how they distributed the poles on the line with the team horses and dug the post holes by hand. And so it was a delightful thing to get electric. I used gasoline lanterns and coal brooder stoves. They worked, but nothing like pulling the switch, turning on the lights. Well, I used to attend all the meetings that they had every year. Won many prizes that they gave out. Sometimes I'd win every year. And of course, I remember when they used to have it in Delhi in a house. They had a house on, I believe it was on Center Street. And so that was, well, we still had a large crowd. It was a very active organization. Very.
Today, the cooperative has grown to serve over 5,100 member consumers and over 800 miles of lines. DCEC recently moved into electricity production with the installation of a generating engine at the Delaware County landfill. We're working to ensure a supply of low-cost, safe, and reliable electricity well into the future. The Delaware County Electric Cooperative takes pride in providing our members with quality electric service.